On Friday, January 23rd, Taylor Swift and her fiancé, Travis Kelce, were spotted back in New York City, following a brief but meaningful trip to Cleveland, Ohio, one that sources say was centered on something deeply personal rather than professional. According to those close to the couple, the Cleveland visit was dedicated to personally inviting close relatives and longtime friends to their upcoming wedding. Rather than relying on formal invitations alone, Taylor and Travis reportedly wanted to show up in person, sitting down, talking, and sharing their happiness face-to-face with the people who have been part of their lives long before the spotlight intensified. Back in New York, the couple kept a low profile. Taylor stepped out in her signature minimalist style, a loose dark dress, a neutral baseball cap pulled low, softly styled blonde hair, and barely there makeup. Travis walked beside her in a patterned sweater and dark pants, wearing the relaxed smile of someone clearly at ease. There was no posing, no performance, just two people moving comfortably through the city. What caught attention wasn't extravagance, but intimacy. The way Travis leaned in to hear Taylor speak. The way she stayed close to him as they walked, their hands never far apart. Passers-by reportedly recognized them quickly, but the couple appeared unfazed, continuing on calmly as if savoring a rare moment of normalcy amid global fame. Cleveland holds special meaning for Travis, tied closely to family and long-standing friendships. Sources say the stop was intentional and symbolic, an important step in the couple's journey toward marriage. They didn't want this to feel transactional, one source shared. They wanted it to feel real, personal. Photos later surfaced showing people carrying large bags and suitcases into a New York apartment building, sparking speculation that Taylor and Travis had just returned home from the trip. While nothing has been officially confirmed, observers noted that the luggage and presence of their close team suggested more than a quick visit, possibly days spent reconnecting, planning, and laying emotional groundwork for the wedding ahead. Their return to New York has only fueled speculation about the city's role in this next phase of their lives. Taylor has long referred to New York as her creative and spiritual home, a place that has witnessed some of her most significant personal and artistic growth. For Travis, sources say the transition into city life has felt increasingly natural, especially alongside Taylor. New York gives them balance, one insider explained. It offers privacy when they need it, access to work when they want it. But more than anything, it's where they're learning how to build a shared life before marriage. In a story often dominated by headlines and spectacle, this moment stood out for its quiet intention, less about appearances and more about connection, family, and the slow, deliberate preparation for what comes next. What made the moment especially striking was how deliberately ordinary it all felt. There were no entourages pushing crowds aside, no visible security spectacle, just subtle coordination and quiet awareness. For a couple whose engagement instantly became global news, the simplicity of their return to New York sent a clear message. This phase of their lives is about grounding, not grand gestures. Sources say the Cleveland trip marked a turning point in how Taylor and Travis are approaching their wedding. Rather than rushing timelines or feeding public curiosity, they are focusing on the people who matter most. Family first, longtime friends second. Everything else, including optics, comes after. Observers noted that the body language between them reflected that mindset. Travis appeared protective, yet relaxed, adjusting his pace to match Taylor's, while Taylor seemed entirely at ease, present, unhurried, and comfortable in the shared rhythm of their day. It was the kind of connection that doesn't seek attention because it doesn't need it. Back in New York, the city itself seemed to fade into the background. For Taylor, it's a place of familiarity and control, a space where she knows how to move quietly. For Travis, it represents transition, from athlete defined by seasons and schedules to a partner building a life rooted in shared routines. Insiders believe the weeks ahead will remain intentionally low profile. Planning will continue behind closed doors, with few public signals and even fewer confirmations. The couple is said to be prioritizing emotional preparation over public milestones, choosing conversations over announcements. As speculation continues online, those closest to Taylor and Travis say one thing is clear. The wedding isn't being treated as an event to be staged, but as a commitment to be protected. And in the quiet streets of New York, away from Cleveland and far from headlines, that intention feels more evident than ever. As the days followed their return, The narrative around Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce began to shift, away from speculation and toward intention. Those close to the couple say this period isn't about finalizing dates or venues just yet, but about aligning their lives in quieter, more meaningful ways. New York has become the backdrop for that alignment. Not as a stage, but as a routine. Morning walks, low-key dinners, time spent indoors, away from lenses. Friends describe it as a settling-in phase, one where shared habits matter more than public milestones. The wedding, they say, is no longer the centerpiece of conversation. The life that comes before and after it is. There's also a noticeable confidence in how the couple moves now. No urgency to explain decisions. No visible concern with outside opinions. Postponing timelines, traveling quietly to see family, returning without announcements. Each choice reflects a comfort with privacy that feels earned rather than defensive. For Travis, this stretch reportedly feels grounding. Balancing football responsibilities with personal commitments has forced him to slow down in ways he hadn't before. For Taylor, the rhythm is familiar. Intentional distance from noise, selective visibility, and control over what moments are shared and which are kept sacred. Friends say the Cleveland visit and the New York return were less about logistics and more about symbolism. Honoring roots, then coming home together. Not to prepare for a spectacle, but to build consistency. To make space for marriage, rather than rush toward it. As attention continues to swirl online, the couple seems content letting silence do the work. No statements, no clarifications, just presence. And in a world that constantly demands updates, that choice, to move forward quietly, may be the clearest signal yet of how seriously they're taking what comes next. In the end, the return to New York wasn't about a trip completed, it was about a chapter settling into place. After honoring family ties in Cleveland, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce came back not to noise or announcements, but to normalcy. What stands out most is the intention behind every move. Personal invitations instead of formal gestures. Quiet walks instead of staged moments. A focus on roots, routine, and shared life rather than spectacle. These choices suggest a couple more interested in building something lasting than in satisfying public curiosity. New York now feels less like a backdrop and more like a foundation. A place where they can pause, plan, and live in the in-between moments that matter most before marriage. And as attention continues to follow them, Taylor and Travis seem comfortable letting their actions speak softly. Sometimes the clearest signs of commitment aren't announced, they're lived.